Hello and welcome to the new video. Today we want to take a look at the Weather Cup for the Open Ultra League, and this is most likely the best team that you can run right now, as this team makes just too much sense. We're going to have the newly Surf buffed Jellicent in the lead, an XL Pokemon. All the Pokemon are XL in general. This cup is very XL heavy, but you see on the right side, for example, both Pokemon in the back that I have here are not really running the ideal IVs either. Like, they're both just slightly XL because I built them really back in the day. Like, literally, I actually built the Sandslash before PvP was even a thing, and this was the first shiny Sandslash that I ever got, which was like lucky traded anyway. So you don't always need the best IVs either. This team worked out really well for me as well here in those test matches. Definitely something that I can recommend you at all here as well, because Abomasnow itself is like so good on this meta. If you have a Shadow Abomasnow build, this Pokemon is insanely good. Actually, I think the normal one should work also pretty well as well, because the normal one going to have more bulk. But this Pokemon itself, as you're going to see as well in this battle already, we can just farm on the opponent. Powdersnow is just chunking away from the opponent. We can go ahead, go for one energy ball here right now. Gonna do some decent damage with that one, but they're going to shield this one up. Not enough, because we can go for another one in time. And this will knock out the opponent here. Good game there. Next opponent, let's see what they're going to run. We're going to see the next opponent coming through here. That's going to be Kingdra in the lead. I'm going to have to swap out of this one. This is not really ideal. Maybe I should actually went into my, into my Abomasnow here, but we're going to get out the Empoleon, which is okay for us because we have access to the move Bulldoze. Sadly, we're not Shadow, which makes it a little bit awkward because we don't do enough damage here really to knock them out either. But we're still going to be able to use one shield here and get a shield back from the opponent, as well as we can still get ahead and go for one Bulldoze here. That should get the knockout or like the shield from the opponent. Let's take a look at this. They're going to shield this move up as well. They're still forced to throw another charge move here, which you're going to let go through here, as you can go ahead, let this move go through, just go into our Jellicent and try to go for one Shadow Ball. They still will be able to reach this next charge move here in time, but it's okay because they don't really store any energy with that one here. So I can go ahead, go for 4 fast moves here, and I will be able to now knock them out with one Shadow Ball before they can go for another Drill Peck, giving us a ton of energy here. But sadly, as you're going to see here right now, you can go for one Shadow Ball. I don't really want them to, I don't know, like, I don't really want to go into my Abomasnow immediately here. I still have my shield advantage. It's most likely just the bait. So I'm going to swap out now after this one. It's going to be the Octazooka, but sadly they have the best possible answer really in the back here. If I stayed in for a little bit more, I most likely would have been actually able to win this game here as well, because I could have won still for one Shadow Ball with my Jellicent, but of course I didn't know that they would swap out immediately here. So this time I'm going to shield up the Acid Spray, which of course, it's always a little bit awkward, but otherwise I wouldn't have got to another charge move anyway. My Pokemon in the back is too weak right now. But yeah, this is also a very decent team by the opponent though. So between Kingdra as well as the Tentacruel, it's a very good core to use right now. A little bit weak against Steel types, of course, but there are not a lot of Steel types available. Sandslash is most likely the best counter for them, but we were lucky that we got them in the right matchup. Next opponent, we're going to see here the Ho-Oh in the lead. This is of course very good for us. I'm just gonna go straight for the Surf. I don't really want them to swap out or throw the charge move first. So I'm just gonna go straight Surf, gonna do some decent damage against them. They're going to swap into a Samurott. This is my best Samurott answer as well, but of course, as you're going to see here, we have two Pokemon double weak to Fire-type Pokemon in the back, which is going to be a little bit awkward against the Incinerate from the Shadow Ho from the opponent. So we're going to let this move go through from the opponent still. It's going to be a Hydro Cannon. Samurott does not have any coverage move that hits Ghost types as well, so like Jellicent is a complete wall to this Pokemon. We can go ahead, go for one Surf Bait here, trying to get the knockout against the opponent as well, but they're going to shield this move up, which is actually pretty decent for us, as we can go for another Surf here as well in time. And now I could decide to swap out, but I feel like actually we already got the Ho-Oh pretty low because he hit this Surf against them. I think we are fine here, just letting this move go through as well. They're gonna go ahead, swap out into their Swampert. I swap immediately into my Sandslash, which might not be the smartest idea, but I'm still going to be able to go for a charge move here against them, which will force, no, actually it doesn't even force a shield, just gonna do some decent damage. They go into their Ho-Oh. They're gonna go for the Sacred Fire here right now, but this will allow us to just farm them all the way down here, which will be very good for us, as we now have a ton of energy left onto our Sandslash. And even though the fast move did so much damage, we're going to still shield up this next charge move from the opponent, because I know that I can get to 2 Ice Punches here against the opponent. They're gonna go ahead, I'll let the first move go through actually. I can go for another one just to get rid of the shield from the opponent, and at this point of time this game is over anyway. I can swap into my Abomasnow and I just farm them all the way down. good game there. Next opponent, MEWeedle, a world champion, as you can see by the pose as well. Let's see what we can do against them. Definitely also a cool person to meet in real life. Literally just met them this weekend here at the EUIC, which was really cool to see as well. Always nice to talk to him. We're going to see the Warren in the lead here. That's going to be pretty decent for us to have it in the lead because our backline kinda can struggle. Like, Sensor is pretty neutral. Issue is Earthquake is super effective, but we resist the rest of the moves. Our fast move is neutral and Boulders is neutral, while Bomber Snow has super effective hits with the energy ball, but the fast move as well as the charge move Weather Ball are going to be resisted here. So I'm pretty happy that we're just going to knock them out here immediately. I'm going to swap out immediately as well, as you're going to be able to get in the Empoleon against us here, which is fine for us. We can go for one Bulldoze, but at this point of time they're not swapping out, which is interesting. We're going to see now that they're going to go ahead and they're going to have to go for one charge move now. And actually Sensage is very, very bulky as well, so we will be able to survive it. We can go for one more charge move against them, which is going to be the Ice Punch, forcing the knockout, I thought, but no, they're swapped into their Swampert here, which is fine for us. We will be able to just go ahead, go for the Weather Ball now against them. This is looking pretty decent for us, as Swampert is really decent to play for our team. We have two Pokemon that's really good against Swampert, so like this is going to be very good for us. They're gonna go for the Hydro Cannon just in case they had Sludge Wave. I will shield up here, like nobody is running Sludge Wave in the Ultra League. Actually, I think it might be an interesting play for this meta though, like running Sludge Wave on Swampert, because you have Tapu Fini, you have the Bomber Snow, you have some other grass type Pokemon like the what's called Ludicolo. So if you can get some farm down somewhere and then go for one Sludge Wave, that might be an interesting play. Maybe make a video about this, who knows. But here we will be able to farm down the opponent's Empoleon. Going to be able to go for one Shitter Ball against the opponent as well here, which will do some decent damage against them and going to knock them out. A good game there. So we are now the world champion, easy. Next opponent, let's see. Are we going to see an Everluck in the lead? This is usually a pretty decent one for us. But actually they're running most likely the move Crunch, which is going to hurt us quite a bit, as we're going to see now. They're going to go straight for the charge move, allowing us to get a completely free fast move in, which is amazing for us. We're going to see a Crunch doesn't get the debuff, which is good for us as well. It doesn't do even half of our health, and Surf is going to two-shot them. And also we're going to be able to get to the Surf a little bit faster, because Surf is 40 energy, the Crunch is 45 energy, and we have fast moves that take basically like generate the same amount of energy as well. So we're always going to outspeed the opponent, allowing us to always win this matchup. Very good catch by my opponent here, going onto the Tapu Fini now with a Surf. I will be able to though retaliate here with my Bomber Snow. I can overfarm by one against the opponent here as well. I think there was maybe even a CMP tie. Going to be able to go for the energy ball here, knocking them straight out of here as well. And then most likely going to go back into the Everlock, I thought, but nope, they went into a Blaziken, and Blaziken going to be also an interesting Pokemon to take a look at, especially as this Pokemon has now the Shadow Form as well. We're gonna go for the energy ball, which is going to do a ton of damage against them. Blaziken can be a little bit tricky for the backline as well, but of course that's why we have this Jellicent in the lead. This is a very decent A-B line basically here. We're going to try to bait out, of course, something like a Blaziken. We're going to have a CMP tie here, which is going to be a little bit awkward for us, but this incoming Blaze Kick doesn't do too much damage either. We can go for our own charge move here that's going to do some decent damage against them, as they're not going to shield this move up, which is amazing for us. As they now can go ahead, go into the Sand Slash here. We'll be able to go for one Ice Punch here, which is going to get the final shield by the opponent, and there's not a lot that they can do about this anymore. They can still go for some Rock Slides if they want to. They're most likely going to run Rock Slide, but they're going to go for the Crunch first, trying to get the debuff, and now going to go for the Rock Slide here, which is actually mostly the better play to go for, maybe. I'm not sure. But of course they didn't get the debuff and wouldn't have mattered anyway, so this is going to be a good game. Next opponent, we're going to see Jellicent against the Swampert in the lead. That's going to be an interesting one as well. Let's take a look at this one. We're going to be able to go ahead and go for some Surf damage as well against the opponent, most likely. Surf is not going to two-shot a Swampert here, not a normal Swampert, at least a Shadow Swampert it would. But yeah, as you can see here, we can just go ahead, shield up the move. It's going to be most likely an Earthquake that I usually don't bait here, so I'm just going to go ahead and go for the safe play. Show swapped out earlier, but Kyurem is going to find its master here in our Lowland Sandslash. We're going to be able to resist every single move this Pokemon learns, as far as I know, other than Steel Wing as a fast move, which nobody is running. So this is going to be amazing for us here, as we can just go ahead and spam those Ice Punches. Sadly, they're of course going to be able to debuff me the entire time, which can be a little bit annoying. Glaciate though is double resisted. Ice is the only type that Ice resists, which is kind of funny, so having a double resisted move here is Very rare for ice type charge move in general. You literally have to hit something like this one here, or like water ice type. I think also double resisted. Here we're going to see this Swampert coming back in here. Again, I can just let this move go through here. And I'm actually going to try to go for the full farm down against the opponent. Earthquake is not doing enough damage for them to KO me here with the next charge move. Going to be the Hydrokin, of course. And now we have so much energy on our bombers now. They have still a shield advantage, but we are fine here. We're going to see the Blaziken, I think, coming in here. It was a Blaziken. I can go for one Weather Ball. I tried to go for the Energy Ball here, which hurts me a little bit because I didn't get there in time. I thought I had like a little bit more energy yet. But we can still go for one Surf against the opponent here. This would knock them out. Well, it wouldn't actually knock them out straight away, but it would do a lot of damage here. We're going to be able to go for another charge move as well. I expect them to swap out eventually into their Kyurem, and they do exactly that, allowing us to capture the charge move onto our Sand Slash, which will be another Glaciate, going to do no damage basically, and we will be able to go for one more Ice Punch to finish up this game. So yeah, this was a little bit of a shorter video. Hope you enjoyed this one here, as this is most likely one of the best teams that you can run in the upcoming Weather Cup. Are you playing the Weather Cup? Are you going to stay in the Great League? Let me know in the comment section below. Leave a like if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.